Hello there. Hi, Facebook family. Happy Monday. How are you today? Come on in, if you will. This is Coach Barbara, and we are getting ready for Real Talk with Love. Week number 17. Hey, Tracy. Week number 17. Right here, Mondays at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, because I'm in Atlanta. And many of you are on the West Coast, I know. Hi, Queen. Hi to you. So come on in. We got a few minutes. We're going to give folks a chance to get logged in while we listen to Brannis McKenzie singing our theme song, Sisters at the Well. Hey, Charlene. Sending you some love today, too. Pretty lady, right back at you. Hope you had a great weekend, everybody. I miss y'all. It's been a week. And I've been thinking about today because I have I think a great topic today. All that glitters is not gold. I had some fun thinking about that. So come on in. You know what to do. Hit the share button. Let a few more folks get in. We're going to spend our 30 minutes. We're going to start on time, and then we're going to share it with a few people so that they can watch afterwards. So come on in. Thank you, Miss Charlene. Thumbs up. Right back to you. How's the volume? Is it good today? I have my mic on today. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I forgot to put the mic on. So come on in. This is Real Talk with Love. I'm Coach Barbara. I'm a veteran coach, life coach, teacher, author, and business owner. Hi, Coralie. And for the last, since March, we've been coming together this time every Monday, chatting a bit about some of the things that are pressing in our lives and sharing some good news, because we know bad news travels so fast. And we want to be the folks who share the good news. So we've been coming on now. This is week 17. And it doesn't seem that long, but it's been that long. And I'm thrilled. I don't know how much longer we'll go, but we'll keep going, right? Hey, Brandy, my niece. Thanks for watching. Do share. Do share. Do share. And we'll get started. Listen, before we get started, always before we get into our topic of the day, we take a little bit of time and think about what's current, what's going on in our lives. And boy, we have had a week, haven't we? We have had a week today. This entire weekend has been very somber, if you will, as we were watching the honoring of John Lewis, Congressman Lewis, and C.T. Vivian, and just watching the world really give them their special moment, their special moments in history, because these gentlemen really helped us in a big way. They gave their lives, 60 plus years on the line for us, fighting for justice and the eradication of racism. And boy, are we staring this thing in the face these days. So this weekend especially, has been filled with mixed emotions. In fact, yesterday I sat and I really cried a little bit, because it was so special to watch them bring Congressman Lewis's body across that bridge. And, how the symbolism of it all was just how this man got beaten as a young man and treated worse than an animal coming across that bridge. And then yesterday we saw him being treated in a way that he so deserved. Hi, Karen. Thanks for watching. So yeah, it was rough kind of watching, trying to hold on to both sets of emotions, the sadness, but also the joy. And then I was sharing with a group of women this morning on my prayer call how we see, the gentleman that they buried this weekend, we see that, but we also think about what it took for them to be able to stand solid for 60 plus years as civil rights advocates and fighting for justice. Hi, Willa. Fighting for justice, fighting for children and families that they would never know, but fighting for our rights. So it's been kind of heavy watching so many of them leave at the same time. C.T. Vivian and John Lewis died in the same day. And only 2 days later, a woman who many of you may not know, but I'll tell you who she is. Miss Christine Toney. Christine Toney was the special assistant to Dorothy Irene Height. And Dorothy Irene Height was the seventh person, iconic person, the only woman among the 6 men who are credited and saluted as the heroes of the civil rights movement. Well, Dorothy Height was among that group. And Christine Toney was the special assistant, personal assistant to her. And she died. She worked for her for 38 years. Dr. Height's been gone for a few years now, but she worked for her for 38 years. And it made me stop to think about all those people who we don't know their names, but every single day of their lives, they work on our behalf. They're doing something. They're helping the leaders of the day. And then I thought about the young people today as they are out there protesting and staring danger in the face. Doing that with a purpose, Charlene, you're right. He knew his purpose. And I'm watching these young people who are maybe not as sure what the purpose is, the long-term purpose, but they know today that it requires courage, and they are demonstrating that so well. So we honor them today. We honor them. And we salute those who have gone before us, and we certainly take a moment to uplift and praise those young people and those who are still on the battlefield for justice. So I don't ever want to start this conversation, since we're in this period of COVID. I don't want to start the conversation without uplifting some of those who have really worked on our behalf. And then I also want to take a moment and ask you to just whisper a prayer for the families who have been impacted by COVID-19. This coronavirus continues to take lives every day, many of them. And it's hard, it's hard. Every time we see those numbers go up, we know that families are changed forever, that their loved ones are gone forever. And for those who are suffering, who are ill, I thought about it this morning. Hi, Stella. Hi, Auntie. I thought about it this morning when I woke up and I could breathe so freely. I thought about those who may be sick and on respirators today, or who needs to be on respirators and there are none available, because we're having a crisis in this country. And so today we start out by lifting folks up, whispering a prayer on behalf of some of the others. And then the last thing I'll say before we get into our topic tonight is I'm going to ask you to be safe. I know we're tired of being sheltered in. I know that it is hard, especially for young people. Hi, Chanel. It is hard to ask you to stay indoors and not socialize and not go out and not to travel, right? It's hard, but it's important. And this isn't the hardest thing we may ever have to do. So if we don't get this right, we may not get to the other side. And we made a commitment to each other that we were going to come out of this together. Hi, Jessica. We were going to come out of this thing together and get to the other side of it, right? And then thrive beyond this moment. This is a moment in time when you compare it to everything that we've gone through already. And we hope, as long as we live, there's going to be something to go through. So don't get so discouraged that you are not safe. And insist on others being safe around you. Insist on it. It's tough. I know. I have 2 young adults in my home. And they're ready to get out. But we're going to be safe. We're going to be smart, regardless of what our government does. And then we're going to check for other people, right? We're going to check for those who don't get too tired that you forget to check on other folks, right? Who may not have the opportunities and the resources that we have. So again, thanks for coming in. Hey, Gloria. Do me a favor now. It's time to hit the share button because we're getting ready to get started. Thanks for coming in, everybody. And we're going to talk about all that glitters is not gold. I know you heard that proverb before because it's, folks say it and they want to attribute it to Shakespeare. I don't know where it really came from, but I do know that it means something important. And sometimes we say it so often, we use these proverbs that they just roll off our tongue. We know the right time to say them, but we sometimes forget what they really mean. So when you hear all that glitters is not gold, what do you think about? What do you think about when you hear someone say, listen, all that glitters is not gold? Usually in the context of, you might want to think twice before you run behind that thing, whatever that thing is, right? I call chasing the shiny objects. When we chase shiny objects, we could really mess around and miss our own blessing because we're chasing something else that looks really shiny and glittery and look like it's fun. What do you think it is that causes us to chase glittery things, shiny things? Is it the glitter itself? I'm going to offer that it's not that it's glittery, even though I like sparkly things. But it's not that. I think what it is, it's the meaning that we place on the glittery thing. Hey, Tiffany and Sharon. It's the perception that the glitter is something that we don't have. It's the perception that if it's glittery, it must be real. It must be special. And in some cases, that's true. But when you take your eyes off of your own dreams and goals and you start looking down the road, to the left, to the right, at something that's glittery and shiny and it catches your attention, you could get distracted. You could get distracted from your own life. So I'm saying glitter is not all bad, but you have to be careful. We got to be careful that we don't get swept away in the sparkle. Swept away in the sparkle of somebody else. Because usually what happens when we see this glitter and we see something that looks like, oh my God, that is so good over there, there's another conversation that's starting to slip in usually. And it's a thread that's usually way in the back of our minds. And when you start to get impressed and drawn to someone else's glitter, you start putting extra, my girlfriend says, fingers and toes on it, right? You start making stuff up about why it's glittery and it looks so attractive. And then what's going on the other thread is that what you have is not glittery. It's not as attractive. That's that underbelly. That's that thread that runs through our subconscious mind. When you allow your conscious mind to attach itself to somebody else's glitter, the subconscious mind is working overtime trying to tell you why your glitter is not shiny enough. Sharon said real or fake, right? So when you're chasing someone else's glitter, you have no idea what that thing is. You're right, it could be fake. But the most important thing is that you pay attention to what is the conversation that you're having way in the back of your mind. What is the other conversation that's going on? Self-doubt starts to jump in there. When you see someone else success happening and it looks like they're really doing well, right? And you're happy for them. You're happy. But what we have to pay attention to in celebrating them, because we want to celebrate our sisters who are doing well. We want to cheer for them because we know when we cheer for them, when it's our turn, we get to be cheered for. That's the way it's supposed to work. Hey, Angela and Danae. So what's really happening in that quiet conversation when we get attached to someone else's success in a way that we start veering off and wanting to be or have what they have? Be what they are, have what they have. That's not for you, perhaps. Right? And when you start moving towards someone else's shine, you are actually dimming your own light. And then that subconscious action that starts to take place when you start moving away from your own dream because somebody is doing it in this kind of way and it looks really shiny and they're getting a lot of ink and there's a lot of buzz and there's a lot of noise. And you think, well, maybe I want some buzz and I want some noise, so I'm going to start doing what they're doing. And you might have been just moments away from your big shine. And you pivoted to go and look at what someone else is doing. Self-doubt. Self-doubt is when you hear the little voice that says, there's a limited supply on success, so you better follow somebody else. That's self-doubt. Self-doubt says that only a few people are chosen for this level of success. That's the little voice that starts creeping up in your mind. That's the little fingers and toes I talked about. That only a few people can be as successful. And so, since they are successful and they're shining, maybe I should shift and do what they're doing. You get off focus, you get off track, you're swayed into their shine. Meanwhile, you're dimming your own light. Sometimes the voice might say something like this. Well, you know, you don't have a degree. And all the people who look like they're successful, they're degreed. That's a tricky one because that happens to a lot of folks. Well, maybe I can only go this far because in order to go way to the top, in order to really imagine that I could be the biggest and the best me that I can be, I must have some kind of credential. I would offer to you that the credential came in your package. And if you're feeling like it's not there, we should talk about how you go back into that box and find it, because it came in the package. Not someone else's package. It came in your package. When you think about the dreams that you have, maybe self-doubt steps in and it says, you don't have enough experience. You're too young. I am so amazed at all of what I'm seeing these young people are doing today. They're not having to go through 30 years on the job to get the level of success that they want. Now, that was a model we followed, right? Our parents, and we followed that model where you had to, put in 35 years, get a watch, and move on. But these young people are creating their own way. They're entrepreneurial. They're business owners in their 20s, younger than that, and they're successful because they don't have a whole lot of things to fear. They're not working off of an old model that says you must put in this amount of time. I am not suggesting that time is equal to work. Work has to be done, but it doesn't need to take you 30 years to do it. And you don't have to sit there. Your success is not hinged upon seniority. Your success is locked somewhere in your heart and in your mind. And you have the key for that. You are the only person who have the shiny key that can unlock that. Someone else, they have their own. You may even hear a voice that says, I don't know how to make a pitch. I don't know how to present myself. Does any of this sound familiar? Have you ever heard any of this? Well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to go out and make a pitch for my company or make a pitch for my idea. Does that sound familiar? It's your idea. It's your gift. It's your dream. Nobody else can make that pitch like you. Once you open up your mouth and open up your heart and understand that it's your dream and it was placed there for you, you open up your mouth and see if the pitch doesn't come out. Your pitch and your passion will flow like never before. It's yours. And whatever you see somebody else doing, you cheer for them, turn your head back to focus, and then start to work even harder on yours. Then I hear sometimes people say, I don't have a mentor. I need a mentor. That person who's successful, they had a mentor, they had a sponsor, they had somebody who really helped them, and that might be true. But it might not be your story at the moment. But you can get a mentor and you can get a sponsor. Mentors and sponsors are attracted to people who do. They are attracted to people who have passion, commitment. When they see that in you, then they're inspired and they want a mentor, right? So this is what I'm asking. Pay attention to the little quiet voice that pops up whenever you see someone else's success. It happens to me. I'm not talking anything that don't happen to me or have not happened to me. When you see others being successful, here's my new thing. When I see somebody being successful, especially if they're in the field that I'm in, like writing, and they're, bestsellers and New York Times, best-selling lists, best-selling authors. When I see that, I'm like, okay, there's more. I'm sure mine is coming. As opposed to having a feeling that I better go read their book and see what they did so that I can duplicate what they did. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to be the best you. Nobody else has signed up to be you. You want to be the best you. So whatever's glittering on the other side, that's good. Let's cheer it on, and then let's get back to you. Hey, Cynthia. So there's 2 more points I want to bring up about that. This is a good one. Social media. Sometimes we have our dream, our goals. We're ready to get our business started. And then we look on social media and we see somebody else doing what looks like the exact thing we want to do. And we just lose it. We just lose it. And the self-doubt takes over. And the, oh my, I guess I can't do it now. And then the other thing is, do you think for a moment people on social media put their worst pictures up? They pick out the best pictures, the one with the prettiest smile, the one with all the joy they can find, and they put that up. But behind all of that, the work that people have to put in when you see success, they've put in some work. And that smile, the smile is a breath from being tired, usually, from all the work that's been put in. And a lot of times when you see these beautiful pictures, it's not the whole story. It's social media, it's Facebook. We're going to put the best up. We're not going to put those moments when we're crying, right? And when we're trying to write and we have writer's block and we can't get a sentence out, or we're making a sales call and we can't catch a yes, it's blood, sweat, and tears. It's a lot. The last book I wrote, Restoration, I'm going to show you this book. This is the last book I wrote, and I hope I have it where you can see it. I thought the book would take me 6 months. It took 2 years. There were moments when I was so frustrated because I was so ready for the book to be finished. But I was also committed to the book being right and for the story to be the right story. I didn't want to just put something out just to say I put it out. It had to represent the excellence that I want to represent. And so it took 2 years. Now, some of you, this may be the first time you saw this book. And it may say, oh, she wrote a book. But I'm going to tell you, the 2 years was rough. I lost the manuscript twice. My computer crashed. Something happened in the design and we lost a lot of the text. It went on and on. Willa, my publisher, is on tonight. Willa can tell you. we had a lot of days when we thought the book was just, look, let's just put it down. Let's get a new book. What is the dream that you are trying to birth? What is that wonderful thing that is glittering in your life, in your mind? What is that shiny idea that is so full of wonderfulness that you haven't put up yet for us to see? Because why? That shiny object is the thing that we're waiting for. Don't allow what you see on social media to sway you in any way. And marketing and PR, when you see the ads for, the Facebook ads or the Instagram ads for what people are doing, cheer them on and turn your head back to your dream and your goal, right? The reason why people do marketing and PR is to hook you in, to grab your attention. But you're not to stay there forever. Look at it and then translate the possibility of it to your dream and your goal and the wonderful thing that you are going to give birth to. Your own wonderful shiny object that you're creating. Don't allow social media marketing to disturb the dream and sway you from your own goal. This is the last one I'm going to talk about. I have heard people talk about, their perfect families. I've heard people make that statement. I have a perfect family. I have perfect children, perfect family. Okay, that's not my story. But I have the family that is mine. I don't want it to be any other thing that it is. I'm from a family of 10. My mother had 10 children by birth and 1 adopted. And I would often say, I love all of them deeply. But there's 1 or 2 or 3 that I don't like so much. But they are my family. Don't for a moment allow what it looks like across the yard to make you think that you are less than or you got the short end of the stick, because you did not. You did not get the short end of the stick. This is the family that you were supposed to be in, so that you can be a part of what uplifts that family. Maybe you're the only shine in the family. Well, if that's the case, then so be it. So I just want to say to you, look, the only glitter or shine you can be sure about is your own. Create your own shine. You were born to be the best you possible. There is nobody else that can duplicate, copy the best you. And so listen, when things start looking all glittery and all shiny and all wonderful, and you think you want something on the other side of the street, the other side of the track, down the road that looks like it's bigger and better. Hey, that's my sister Melanie. When you think that something else is going on and it's successful and it is everything, just turn to yourself. Go inward. And if you're like me and you're faith-filled, ask God to show you where yours is. Point you right back to you. And give yourself the gift of you. thank you. I am so happy you were here. I certainly hope that you will share our conversation. Start a watch party with some of your friends. Let them come in too. And I will see you right back here next Monday, 7 o'clock. Real Talk with Love. Coach Barbara saying goodnight. I love you, as Charlene would say, on purpose. Take care, everybody. All that glitters is not gold. But you, my friend, you have your own pot of gold. So go for it. Love you. Have a good night. Thank you, Tracy and Willa and Tommy. Karen Cole, thank you for being here. I'll let Brannis play us out.
I never knew there was a place to go where my spirit's thirst is quenched. Who knows who yourself?
Good night. Take care.